Welcome to the Jenks and the Hammer podcast. Bringing you the latest NFL news and insights from the perspectives of two die-hard fans. Join your hosts, Grayson Jenkins and John Hammerly, as they dive deep into the world of football, along with a special focus on the New Orleans Saints and the Green Bay Packers. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some football talk with Jenks and the Hammer.
Hey, here we go!
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Jenks and the Hammer podcast. Today we're going to be breaking down our top 8 receivers in this upcoming draft with Ned Stimpson, of course. It's going to be a good episode. Grayson got his haircut today, so we're fired up, ready to go.
Fresh cut.
It's looking good. Let's get right into it.
All right, guys, jumping right in. We got our top 8 receivers for you guys. So I actually have an honorable mention before we even get into the top 8. One guy that I think could go way underlooked throughout the draft and may go through day 3, and he's going to be a star in the NFL, I think. Xavier Hutchinson out of Iowa State. He's 6'2", 203. He ran a 4.53 40, and when you watch him on film, he looks really good. I think he only had 1 touchdown or something like that, but his film, he looks great. Just look him up when you guys get a chance. That's all I'm going to say, and then we're just going to dive right in. Number 8, I got Rashee Rice out of SMU. This guy's name's come up a couple times. I talked to him with John about him going to the Saints possibly in the second round. But he's not a second round pick. I think maybe he's a third round, but he's going to be picked before the Saints in the third round, so he's not going to go there, and the Saints don't really need another receiver at this point with Michael Thomas coming back. He's 6'1", 204, 4.5, 140. And this guy, you watch him on film, he has plays that he reaches up above defenders. He goes and gets the ball. Great hands on some plays, but then next play, he drops an easy pass right in the hands from the quarterback. So this guy has problems with consistency, and if he's able to fix it in the league, I can see him really turning it around and becoming a good receiver. And then at number 7, I got Josh Downs from UNC. This guy, he's a shorter target, but I've seen some people say this guy's going to be the next great short receiver. Like, he's 5'9", 171, 4.48 40. He's pretty fast. He's a smaller guy, so obviously he's not going to be slow. Or I hope he's not slow. He had 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns this past season for UNC, and he has great hands and a ridiculous catch radius for a guy that's 5'9", like me. I'm 5'9". I'm a short king, but this guy is going to ball out in the league, and the only real concerns are his size and the effects of his size are like getting off press coverage, stuff like that. Like, an NFL corner goes and presses this guy, he's not going to get off him. He's 5'9", small. He's light, 180 pounds. Like, he's not getting off of press. So if this guy can really work on his press release and everything like that and show the NFL what he's capable of, he's going to be good.
Yeah, I think something else that's big with Downs is he plays primarily inside, and I think he has a great feel for the game as terms of like being an inside receiver. You watch him on a lot. He scored a lot of like pick slide this year at UNC, and I thought he was great with that. It reminds me a little bit of Jamison Crowder. He's a fairly good NFL receiver for a couple of years. They're both 5'9", but I thought they both moved really well. I thought Josh Downs moved really well in tight spaces. I also think, the catch radius is ridiculous. The hands are really good. And, I have Josh Downs way higher than you do. I think he's going to be a good NFL wideout.
I mean, we have him so low just because his size. Because being that size in the NFL, it's, risky, Like, we'll discuss it later, but 6 foot is, the perfect range. 6 foot, 6'1", maybe 6'2". That's the perfect range. And being, maybe 5'11", but 5'9" is where it's getting to, it's almost only able to be, a gadget type of player. Like, Deontay Harris is really short. He's, 5'6", Deontay Hardy, I should say. He's on the Bills now, but for the Saints, he was a kick returner. He had a few good plays in the Saints, but it's all quick kind of routes, gadget type routes. But Josh Downs is 5'9", so he's 3 inches taller. But it's whether or not he can actually get through press or get through contact on routes, anything like that in the NFL, where people are actually going to be collisioning him. So,
yeah, I think something that's also big for Josh Downs is, in that UNC offense, watching him, they do a lot of stuff. They run a lot of vertical concepts. They run a lot of RPO. You'd want to see him run more of a professional route tree. You don't see him running a lot
Mm.
of digs. You don't see him running a lot of daggers. That's a problem with another guy in this class who, I'm going to take that issue up later. But, with Downs, he's sort of running he's running these like stutter and goes. He's like trying to sort of block and goes, and they don't really show, some of that nuanced route running that you need to be really good at to be really good in the NFL. So I'd want to see him run more of a route tree as well.
Yeah, and another thing too, just going back to the size, like not only as we know, like that size is gonna have its limitations with, just the physical aspect and going up and, making those big time catches over defenders, but also, it's a health concern too. You got someone, 5'8", 5'9", 170, 180 pounds, like they're playing NFL football with some big boys out there,
Yeah, he's got an
They're
injury
gonna
history
hit.
too.
Yeah.
He's not
Yeah.
always healthy.
So
So, yeah.
I mean, as a Packer fan, I see it every year with Randall Cobb. I mean, he's a good player, but he's
He's
little,
too
a
small.
little undersized, and gets injured a lot. And another thing too, I saw today, because now's the time that teams are having official visits with NFL prospects. Not a single team has set up a meeting with Josh Downs.
Yeah,
It's pretty
it's
interesting.
big. That is
It's so
interesting.
weird.
As a he's definitely, you can argue where you want to put him, but hey, he's a top 10 prospect, top 8 prospect in this class. To not have a meeting with anyone, it's interesting. I was seeing today that people now think he's going to be like a day 3 pick. So
Yeah, I think late day 2, maybe
I,
early day
I agree with
3.
Jenks. Late
But
day 2.
I don't see him falling past like the upside on him, and he's such a confident player. Like you see it, like he plays hard like every single game.
Yeah.
Whereas like Rashi Rice, who I just mentioned, who has the size, we were talking like that prototype size 6'1".
yeah,
Uh, he's got the like possibilities, but he's not a consistent and not a hard worker like Josh Downs is. So if Josh Downs can prove that he's hardworking, everything like that to an NFL team, even if maybe not on an official visit, the team starts talking with him more. They get like a couple conversations going. They learn more about him. It could change things for him. So we'll see.
yeah. Number 6, we got Cedric Tillman from Tennessee, 6'3", 213 pounds. In my opinion, he's the best receiver at the catch point in the draft. His focus, his body control, his ball skills, it's pretty to watch. He plays physical too. He's a physical receiver. He's gonna give you his all. He's gonna block hard. He plays the game, at a physical level, which you love to see from that outside position. The thing about him though is he suffered an ankle injury in 2022. This past season. So, and he's kind of been a step slower since. So I think that's a big concern for NFL teams. And he would be picked higher if that injury didn't happen, but sadly it did. And I think that's going to affect him. I kind of see him going late second round, early third type of guy, day 2 guy, but could be higher definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I think the interesting thing with him is he's viewed so much lower than a guy like Quentin Johnston, who we're going to talk about later. But it's almost like similar size.
He's probably a safer pick.
The Quentin
He
Johnston.
could be.
We'll get into it later.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
I mean, Cedric Tillman, the difference in like draft stock right now, like Quentin Johnston's easily a first round pick,
Yeah,
top 20, top 25. Whereas Cedric Tillman is falling because he had injuries, like he did,
Yeah.
so that could cause him to fall as well. But teams aren't even looking at him nearly as highly as they are Quentin Johnson, who didn't
I think the
insane
main
productivity.
difference maybe is that Tillman is not viewed to be as explosive after the catch.
Yeah,
which
for
could be
sure.
big. He's viewed as more of a possession receiver.
Yeah.
That's what he's potentially be a great one, but he's not really getting it done with the yak. And this league, has evolved to a point where it's all about yak. The league is not really looking for possession guys much anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
Number 5, we got Zay Flowers from Boston College, 5'9", 182 pounds. Tracks the ball very well. Runs full speed in his routes, which you love to see. The problem with him is, though, his size, right? 5'9", 182 pounds. He's got short arms and he's got small hands. He needs to work on his hands better. A lot of drop balls. And I feel like just watching him, he needs to do a better job with feeling out the zone coverage and finding the holes. I think he's had a lot of issues with that, not really helping his QB. But I've seen this guy get mocked like late in the first round.
For
I
the
saw him,
Packers.
hell no.
That's a spot. That's a place I want him. I've seen that happen. I've seen that in mocks.
Green Bay is not drafting a 5'9" receiver from Boston College in the first
Who
round.
knows?
Green
They
Bay
could
probably isn't drafting
replace
a receiver
Randall.
in the first round because they don't do that. But yeah,
They don't.
That's also a
It's
good
it's
point.
gonna change. It's gonna change this year, but it's gonna
Right.
be someone
Right.
else
right.
for
Okay.
Jordan Love. We got to help out the future MVP.
Right.
But late first, early second. I seen the Chargers, Giants, maybe, Bills, something like that. Baltimore, who knows? But
Yeah, I
yeah.
can see Baltimore picking up. I think also a thing with Zay Flowers I like is I love his releases. I
Yeah.
think he's
Mhm.
extremely quick with his first step. I opened a Twitter feed a couple months ago that had a couple plays with him in it. Said, "Who does this remind you of?" And the consensus answer among all responses was on Antonio Brown. And if you start getting compared to Antonio Brown, you've got something going on with your feet for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? I think Zay Flowers is honestly underrated. I think if he was like 2 inches taller, that he might be the best receiver in the class.
Really.
I really do think he's very underrated. Yeah, I think he's.
Yeah,
I
Who
think
the
is
he's
size
special.
the size
And he's the
definitely takes him
best.
down a couple notches.
Yeah, because I mean, what is he like 5'9" and
It's
a half?
5'9", yeah. 5'9",
5'9",
5'10".
Then you become 5'11", 6 foot, and now you're all of a sudden you're in that perfect wideout range. And if you're moving the way you move at 5'9", but you're 6 foot and you're playing like that, yeah, I absolutely think he might be the best receiver in the class.
Yeah, and here's the consensus like possibility: boom or bust. Number 1 receiver in the draft, Quinn Johnston. We got him at number 4 versus number 1, number 2.
Okay.
But the
There
reason
we
we
go,
have him
4.
here, and don't get me wrong, I think Quinn Johnston is going to be picked the first receiver off the board. I
don't.
believe he will.
He's
I don't.
not-
I would like to disagree with that as
him-
well.
not going
listen,
first,
listen.
dude.
Him or JSN? JSN should
JSN.
get picked first, and I agree with
Jason's a
that.
lock.
But I'm saying a team could fall in love with Quinn Johnston and just be like, you know what, we like this possibility for him, and we're going to pick him just because he's a boom type of guy. But has all the size in the world. He has all the athleticism. He's as soon as he catches a ball, you saw him versus Michigan. He went 70 yards to the house after it was like an 5-yard in route. He went 70 yards, took it all the way, made a guy miss. He's got the boom upside, but he also has the bust downside. He's not a consistent player. He has bad hands, and he's not very physical. Like, he's a 6'3" guy, and you're not a physical receiver. What are you doing? Like,
Yeah, so
so
I'm gonna
weird.
say no. I'm gonna say no to the first point you made. He's not gonna be the first receiver taken, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't think any team's gonna fall in love with him. There's nothing to really love. There's no one thing that he's really good at. Yeah, he's good at run after the catch, but is he the best big play guy in this class? No, that's Jalen Hyatt. Is he the best route running in this
I'm
class?
excited for
No,
Jalen
that's
Hyatt.
JSN. Like, he does everything kind of good, and yeah, the run after catch is really good, but like, he's
Yeah,
not.
no,
and
I
like you
agree.
said too, he's not. He's got work in the hands. He's not consistent. That's such a big. That's so big in the NFL, and so
No,
I got
I'm
him going
100%
late.
agree.
I got him going late in the first round, probably the third receiver or fourth receiver. I think four receivers are going to go in the first round. I could see him going 3-4, and I like 23 to Baltimore. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
But
but I
I
think
agree with John.
I think if he goes to Baltimore, it'd be number 2. It'd be number 2 or 3. I don't see him being number 4. I think he's
Why?
going to be the third. He's going to be first to third receiver taken because
I don't think he'll be earlier than
JSN.
third.
Third.
JSN's going to
I
be.
think JSN and Addison will certainly go before him.
So
And
here's
that's
the
the
thing:
next
when
guy
you
I
look
got.
at when you look at that draft order too, right? No one's really going to go in that top 10. I wouldn't imagine.
Yeah,
And then you come out of that top 10, and then you look at Titans at 11, Texans at 12. You're like, nah. I would think they go tackle, or they go like
Titans are a
right-
possibility though.
or they go edge.
Titans could.
I
do
can
it.
see the Texans. I can see the Texans
Patriots,
going wide out at 12.
Patriots. Yeah, but that's a big if, right? I mean, do you want to pair up your rookie QB with a star rookie receiver? Do you
Yeah,
wanna get-
man. The
wanna
Bengals did that a couple years ago, and look what
I
it
know.
did for him.
Do you
They
wanna get-
had
That is true.
Sewell versus Chase, and that was the
Yeah.
discussion. It's like, hey, you want to get your guy that he's been thrown to in college, or do you want to get him someone to watch his blind side? And Burrow has not been well protected, and guess what? It hasn't really been a problem at the end of the day because he gets to throw the ball. One of the best receivers in the NFL.
Yeah, but
Something to
right,
think about.
but Houston can go either way with that pick. Patriots at 14, that's receiver needy team. 15 Packers, that's receiver needy team. After that, Commanders, Steelers, Lions, Bucks, Seahawks, not really. Chargers at 22, Baltimore at 23. And then, you got Minnesota. Maybe they put away with Thielen. You got the Giants there, and then it becomes, Bills. So, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But I honestly think like one receiver goes in that top 15. Not top 15, top 20. I think one receiver goes in the top 20, and then I think like 2, 3 go in, 20 to 32.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 or 3 receivers gone in those last 10
And another
picks.
team, too, which we talked about, is the Giants. I think that's a good spot for Johnson, and I say that because you look at all the receivers, and they're all like, I think the tallest one is like 6 foot, right? So maybe
I think Isaiah Hodgins is a little bit taller. I think he might be pushing 6'3". I think so.
But that's an interesting spot too if they want that big body guy. But I think Baltimore's the spot to be.
Yeah, because they need that receiver, and they want a guy that like not necessarily attracts attention, but they want like a guy that the fans are gonna be like, oh, we finally got like a number one, like because Lamar Jackson, like we've talked about, and I think Ned said last time, they don't have a receiver, like they just don't. Like, they haven't for a while.
They have Bateman, and Bateman's played well when he's played. He's been hurt.
But he's not healthy.
Hopefully he can break out. Assuming he can break out, you'd want to have him the number 2 though. You always want a really good number 2 receivers, and NFL teams are showing that that's a priority in the first round. That they will take a second guy. The Cowboys did it with CeeDee Lamb when they had Amari Cooper. Commanders did it when they had Terry McLaurin. They wanted Jahan Dotson. If the guy is good enough, you'll absolutely go get him. For sure.
Yeah, it pays off too. Like Jahan Dotson at the end of the year. Like Terry McLaurin's getting that number 1 corner on him.
Yeah.
Jahan Dotson is number 2, and he's
awesome
getting
pickup. Played well.
He's exploiting guys.
Plays.
Yeah.
I'm fearful that the Giants will pick up Jordan Addison. I really don't want that to happen. I think he's extremely good.
I
think
love
he's
Jordan Addison.
Great. I'm interested to hear though who your top 3 are though. Now that Johnson slides it at 4.
At number 3, we have Jordan Addison.
Okay.
And it's really mainly just because, this guy, him and Jalen Hyatt, I honestly are kind of like a coin flip in my opinion. But I honestly, I love Jordan Addison.
But honestly, when me and Grayson looked at this, because of course, our top 8, but there's also tiers to that top 8.
Yeah.
I mean, JSN is in the tier of his own. And then we put Hyatt and we put Addison kind of in that tier too.
They're similar guys too, I think Jordan Addison, I will say.
I mean, they're not. I mean,
I will say Jordan Addison. No,
they're not similar, but
Yeah.
All right, well, let me finish.
They're not similar. One's like Addison, Deshaun Jackson, and the other one's like a little slow, but he's a better route runner.
Jalen Hyatt has the big playability, 100%. Jordan Addison has the route running, but I both think they're going to be more of those guys. They're like a team can rely on. So I have Jordan Addison. My comp, I have him is Chris Olave from last year. Great route runner.
Jordan Addison?
Yeah, Jordan Addison, 100%. It reminds me of Chris Olave. I'm watching him on film. He can go deep. Like he has the ability. He ran a 4.49 40. Like he can burn people.
Yeah, he didn't have the best combine.
No, for sure.
I think Jordan Addison reminds me most of Calvin Ridley. Getting out of his breaks.
That too.
Yeah, I think USC kind of limited. I think USC kind of limited him a bit.
He went off.
They were like they won the Bolitnikoff Award the year before that.
Yeah, at Pittsburgh, he had 1,600 yards, 17 touchdowns.
I think it's because they asked him to run the whole route tree at Pitt. And I think that's what actually differentiates for me Jalen Hyatt and Jordan Addison is, again, just running a professional route tree. So I haven't really seen Jalen Hyatt do that. And Jalen Hyatt's, a smaller guy, and so is Jordan Addison. I mean, we're at a point where, our 2 of our top 3 receivers are 180 pounds or less.
Yeah.
Jalen Hyatt's only 180 pounds. Jordan Addison's 173.
176, 173. Yeah.
These guys are small. Like
very similar in size.
Addison's small. I put Addison's kind of similar to Tyler Lockett, too. I had that as a comp, too.
Yeah. I mean,
see that?
I just think he's great out of his breaks. I think he can already run a professional route tree. I think the thing with Hyatt is that he's fast. He ran like a 4.41. So he's extremely fast.
Yeah, and that's what teams want nowadays, though.
You haven't really seen him run the whole route tree, though. You don't know if he can do that.
No,
that's
I want
at least slightly concerning for me. I wouldn't.
But here's my thing with. Are you done with Addison?
Yeah, I was just gonna say like Addison. One of the great positives to him as well is he finds like the holes in the zones. Like outside of his
So he
run,
can
like
feel.
his route running, like he can feel where the holes are. He goes to them for the quarterback, and he can adjust to the ball as well. So, I mean, and really the only downside to him is his size. Like Ned was just saying, is his size slightly a concern, but it's not really. He's 5'11", but he's only weighs 173. So
Yeah. So here's my thing with Hyatt. Right, he's number 2 for us, and you said, Ned saying, he can't run the full, route tree. We haven't seen that yet, and I think that's fine because I don't think any team's going to ask him to come in and be the receiver 1. Right?
he's a receiver
No
too.
teams, no one's going to ask that. Everyone's going to. We want you to come be the receiver 2. We want you to run verticals, stretch the defense. We want you to make them respect us in the deep passing game, so we can have a light box and we can run that football. So it's just like. Yeah, he's not a do-it-all receiver, but he does his job really well. He's explosive. He's going to take the top off you, and you have to respect it, which is going to open up more options for the team.
Okay, I get you. Do you have a comp for Jalen Hyatt?
I said Deshaun Jackson.
You said Deshaun Jackson. That's fair.
Right? I mean,
you think about that. Deshaun Jackson was like he could return.
No,
kicks.
Deshaun Jackson was a great receiver.
Yeah,
like he's Deshaun Jackson. Awesome.
We're saying receiver 2, Deshaun Jackson.
Okay.
Was higher
Yeah,
than that,
right.
but I mean, like,
I got to see some Deshaun Jackson. I loved him, for multiple years. He was
Yeah.
a great player.
But even like he was never the receiver 1 for those Washington teams, was
Yeah, it was a package room. We kind of had him, Garcon, Crowder at the same time.
he
We
was
also
older
had
once he
Jordan
got
Reed.
there.
And
He
it
was
was-
a little bit older. He had a couple really good years though. Like we caught like one or
Yeah.
two of his like really good years.
Yeah.
He was a threat. So it was more like we just had like a monster. Teams weren't really looking at Deshaun Jackson like, yeah, we got to cover that guy and only that guy. It was like we got to cover that guy. We got like a lot of other stuff to worry about.
Yeah, but Jackson stretched the field for the for those
Yeah,
Washington,
bleeds over the top.
and that's what they're gonna ask Hyatt to do. And so like I said, he's the best deep threat in the draft. He had the most deep yards in college football with 677 this past year. He's very explosive, and there's like you said, the weaknesses, the route tree and everything. He can develop that, but that's not what they're going to ask him to do. And doesn't handle press very well because of his size. But I see him going late first round. I like the Bills. I like the Bills. I like maybe the Chargers. But yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen people talking, like John and I were talking earlier, about the Saints meeting with him, and they're thinking, oh, maybe they pair him with Hendon Hooker in the late round, but I honestly don't think it's even like it's not worth it not taking Jalen Hyatt because he would be what, a number 3 for the Saints. Like we have him official visit, top 30 visit, I think, or it was just a normal official visit, but having him visit, it's more, I think it's just a precautionary, like, hey, let's meet with this guy, see if he's what we want. But I don't think the Saints need him. I think he's going to fall, like John said, late first round. And that's the only reason why the Saints are, I think, meeting with him is, hey, if he falls to us, is there something there that we're interested in and just doing due diligence? So,
yeah, I think something to think about regarding top 30 visits that you guys might not have explored. So, Hendon Hooker has a top 30 visit with the Commanders. I don't think we're going to take him at 16. I don't really see us investing the resource. No. What I could see, though, is setting smoke screens and saying, hey, we're looking for a quarterback. We don't really have one. Sam Howell's a 5th-round pick. And then all of a sudden you get to 16 and a team like the Minnesota Vikings comes calling. They're like, hey, we kind of want Hendon Hooker. We'll trade you our pick for him. It's a strategy to trade back. So, I don't know if top 30 visits are really super indicative of
no, for sure. Yeah, and that's what we were saying. It's kind of just like due diligence, feeling things out. And like you said, the Vikings, like for the Commanders, that is a great strategy because they need a backup quarterback to back up Kirk because he's on his way out in a few years for sure.
Yeah,
and they want someone.
Like
that's what I said. Vikings, they are a contender for in this draft. I wouldn't be surprised with Hooker. I would not be surprised with Levis if they trade up if he fell. And I wouldn't be surprised if they end up being in the sweepstakes for Lamar Jackson. I just wouldn't be surprised because it's just I said that on an earlier podcast.
What do they give up for Lamar though?
You give up picks, but I'm just saying, like, there's no future with Kirk Cousins. There is none.
Okay, but then
and the
not
Vikings,
a wide open NFC North.
Not
an Aaron Rodgers list NFC North.
The Vikings, the whole team left this offseason.
But here's the thing with the Vikings.
There's no future with Kirk Cousins. The Vikings have been
They
looking
can't-
to get rid of him for a long time. They just haven't because of where they've been drafting. They don't. Who wants Cousins? Like,
Yeah,
come
but
on.
there's no way they're affording Lamar Jackson, Dalvin Cook, and Justin Jefferson on the same team.
I think Dalvin Cook could get traded.
Yeah,
I could
Could
see
get
can
him,
see
that.
Dalvin
and then
Cook
what?
getting
Madison,
sent.
Madison.
But you know what?
the
Minnesota's
RB1.
like, hey, we got the best receiver in the league. In their opinion, I think Devontae. But
Oof.
I just
No,
I just
Justin
think like
Jefferson, no,
I would
easy.
not
That
I
year.
wouldn't be surprised if like they entered the Lamar Jackson sweepstakes.
I would.
I mean, I could see it, but I just don't know how they. And then they give up what? You got to give at least 2 firsts, probably, maybe,
Yeah, probably
maybe
2, 3.
I mean, 2 firsts and Dalvin Cook, and how much more do you need if we're gonna start this conversation?
Yeah, I'm interested to see what the
It's
Ravens are looking
to the
for.
Ravens too, running back like Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, I mean, if you're getting Lamar Jackson, you're probably sending Kirk Cousins. You know, you could say Kirk Cousins is not the future, but Kirk Cousins isn't like nobody. Kirk Cousins tosses like 30 touchdowns a year against like 9 interceptions generally in that realm. You know, teams will want that guy. You know, he might not win a Super Bowl, but if you're going to trade for Lamar Jackson, you probably send them Kirk Cousins.
It's not like no, because I think if that happens, then I'm like, well, then Minnesota. I mean, then Baltimore with that picks, they're probably gonna
try to trade up for
go
a quarterback.
QB.
Yeah, and they'll have
Right?
Kirk Cousins
Yeah,
starting
and the
for him.
GM was
They'll
talking
actually
about it.
cut him.
The
here's
GM was
what-
talking about it too today.
Yeah. And here's what my dad, he said this the other night, which we kind of got into it, but could you see the 49ers trading for Kirk Cousins?
You know what? I could.
They say like when I first heard it, I was like, that's stupid. What are you going to do with Cousins? But you know what? Cuz you're not going to ask Cousins to be Superman and just run the system and let's go, because you know what? He's better than Sam Darnold. Is he better
Every
than
time
Purdy
other than
in
1
that
o'clock on
system?
Sunday, though.
Probably.
Maybe.
You know what? I think
But
it's also interesting because
Purdy's out for 5 weeks, and I don't think they like Trey Lance. Like I don't know where they're at with
No,
Trey
they
Lance.
don't-
Could they move him?
They're not
it's
doing anything with
crazy
Trey
because they
Lance.
traded the house for Trey Lance. You know,
I
people
know,
forget they traded
I
that
know.
for overall pick.
I don't know.
I think it's interesting, you know, the thing about Kirk Cousins because Kyle Shanahan, you know, that's his original quarterback. When Kyle Shanahan first became an OC, he had Kirk Cousins, you know, throwing the ball for him. And this is a fun tidbit of information you guys might not know. This is very low key. In 2017, the 49ers tried to trade for Kirk Cousins. Kyle Shanahan was like in his second year as head coach. They offered the 2nd overall pick. And then GM of the Washington franchise, Bruce Allen, said no. And all the time I think about what would happen if we had the 2nd overall pick in the 2017 draft that had Patrick Mahomes. I think about this every day, actually. You know, I would have loved for us to. Of course, we got because think about it. When Kirk Cousins walks, he just walks the following season. You know, our stubbornness with this guy ultimately hurts us because he only had a 3rd round pick for him. It's like our stubbornness with Trent Williams.
Yeah,
you know, we wanted to extend Trent Williams. Daniel Snyder would not do it.
Yeah, that's what Ned thinks about before he goes to bed and when he wakes up.
Yeah, and you only get a 3rd and a 5th for Trent Williams. I could spiral. I could go into the whole thing.
But hey, all I'm saying is that Minnesota, Baltimore, I don't know. Those are going to be 2 very interesting teams come draft night.
One thing I saw
with receiver, QB, you know, it's going to be interesting. I don't know.
And just talking about quarterback news now, I mean, we kind of got into it. I saw a news article the other night about possibly if the Jets trade falls through for Aaron Rodgers, the 49ers wouldn't be they'd be into possibly trading for Aaron Rodgers as well. And then Aaron Rodgers talked about it.
I think so.
He talked about it. He wanted 49ers were possibly one of his teams over the last 3 years of Aaron Rodgers drama. What was it, last year?
He's never said that. He's never said it. 49ers.
He didn't say it directly, but it was rumors. Okay, there was rumors. Sorry.
Rumors.
Yeah, yeah, there were rumors. But let's be honest, like
there's rumors that Derek Carr's a good QB.
And he is. And he is, so.
My goodness.
It's not, though.
There was like nothing shy about
and
that.
He got he got benched by he brought his best friend, the best receiver in the league. He was playing with the best receiver in the league, and he got benched.
Yeah, and he still had 25 touchdowns last year. Like, he wasn't a problem. No,
he got benched, and they were still
the coaching's terrible
contender.
in Raiders.
Stunk.
The Raiders are terrible. That's a trash heap organization. They're going to be all right now because they got Jimmy G with McDaniel. But
I heard
Derek Carr is perfectly fine at quarterback. He's already he's a top 6 quarterback in the NFC.
Sure. What does that even mean?
In the NFC.
In the NFC.
Okay, he still is, but like.
Okay,
it's what makes you the playoffs.
Goff? 3?
I don't know. Jared Goff balled out last year. Did he not?
Jared Goff was a pretty good quarterback last year.
Like, let's not lie. Like, Yeah, Jared Goff in
Yeah.
the past wasn't good, but he
Is
balled
he
out
top
last year.
6 in the
so-
NFC? Who are the? Yeah, I don't even know
I'll-
if he's top 6
No, he's top. Who?
because
Jared
Jalen
Goff or-
Hurts is better. Jalen Hurts is better.
Jalen Hurts is number 1. All right, let's go. Okay, let's run through it. Jalen Hurts.
Yeah,
Who's number 2? Let's think.
probably Kirk Cousins.
Stop.
Yeah, but Kirk Cousins can't play any other time than 1 o'clock on a Sunday. So
He still plays
doesn't
well that
matter.
time.
Yeah, but then
Plays
you go to the playoffs and he's a trash heap.
well. How many playoff games has Derek Carr won? Please let me know.
He's been to 1. He's been to
And he
1.
lost it. And he lost
And he
it,
lost
dude.
it.
I'd rather
He
go to
still
the playoffs
only
and
had
lose
one.
than not
No,
go
no.
at all.
Yeah, but
Derek
that's not
Carr's
his.
played 2.
He's had the
played 2.
31st ranked
He's
defense
played
half
2
his
playoff
career.
games and he's lost both. He's
No,
played
he was
2 and he
injured
lost
for the
both.
second. He was injured for the second one. Then doesn't even
Okay,
What do you
regardless.
mean?
So roll with me with Kirk Cousins at 2.
Okay, Kirk Cousins 2.
Dak
3.
Prescott 3.
No,
I don't know,
Dak's
after
better
last
than
Or
year-
Kirk
Geno
Cousins.
Smith. Or Geno Smith. Realistically,
No, Geno
Geno Smith played well.
Derek.
Yeah,
He's a
but he had
comeback
1
player of
year.
the year.
Yeah, but that's
He's a
1
comeback player of the
year.
year. He's a Pro Bowler.
But that doesn't mean he's
Stop.
automatic.
It's the last time he played football, isn't it?
But that does not make him a top 3 quarterback right away in the NFC.
Look, I'm gonna let's just name the QBs that are better than Derek Carr. Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins.
Fine. Kirk Cousins.
I don't know.
Jared Goff. Hold on. Geno
Their
Smith.
reluctance.
Geno Smith.
Geno Smith.
Derek Carr's the most
I was just about
comeback,
to say someone.
most comeback drives, most
Daniel
game-winning
Jones.
drives, most comebacks.
Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott.
All right,
I think Daniel
Derek
Jones
Carr's
might
the
be better.
best quarterback since he came into the league. In
I would
crunch
put.
time,
I know
coming
he
back.
got injured. I know he got injured, but Matthew Stafford
Yeah.
is better than him.
Won a Super Bowl.
No.
I would put Kyler Murray ahead of him.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
here's
what
the
do you
thing,
think about
all
Justin
those picks-
Fields?
All those picks are pure
No,
speculation.
No.
Okay, hold on. There might be a little bit of bias there from you, John, but I actually do think that Justin Fields is ascending big.
That
pretty
running
big
back
Yeah,
in
but he's
Chicago?
okay. There's no way
Oh,
Justin
no.
Fields is better than Derek Carr. There's just no way. I'm sorry.
What makes you
There's
say
no
that?
shot.
What makes you say that?
Derek
he's not
Carr's
gonna take a
multiple
leap?
4,000-yard throwing passing
He's
seasons.
trending downward though. Why don't you?
He
I
had
don't
one
understand
bad
what
year.
you're looking-
He had one bad
He
year. And he
got
had the 30.
benched.
He had terrible defense his whole career.
Yeah, you have one bad year, and then you start to get
Welcome-
worse and worse. You don't just
Okay,
get
and
worse,
Justin
you get
Fields
better.
has one
to Aaron
good
Rodgers'
year, and,
life.
it means, and he didn't even have a great year passing. He was all running. All of his
Yeah,
plays
he's
were running the
24.
ball.
He's going to be what 25.
Yeah, but just because of his potential, he's automatically a better quarterback.
Look,
That's not
all I'm
true.
going to say is Derek Carr had one of the best running games in the NFL last year, and he had the best receiver in the league last year, and he found a way to get benched and lose
I
games.
agree with that. You should put up like 40
Yeah, it's
points a
one
game.
bad year.
You got that.
Can't he found a way to lose
Yeah,
games.
it's one bad year. And Aaron Rodgers didn't make the playoffs last year. What does
and-
that mean? Does that mean
and-
Aaron Rodgers is a top 5 quarterback in the NFC?
Come on,
And
come
Grayson,
on.
Grayson.
What does that
What are we
mean?
talking
No,
about?
but what does that
Grayson, bear
mean?
with
What
me.
are we
Like
talking
that's
about?
BS. That's
Yeah, but
Bear with me.
not good.
Don't
No.
talk about Derek Carr and Aaron.
What
Rodgers.
I'm not
second-
saying okay. I'm saying Aaron Rodgers is 10 times better than Derek Carr, but I'm saying
Yeah.
you're using logic. Oh, Derek Carr got benched this one season. It means he's not top 6 in the NFC.
Yeah.
When Aaron Rodgers didn't make the playoffs, so what is he?
Yeah, and Derek Carr's career, he's never won a playoff game. He's never done anything. Aaron Rodgers is a four-time
Because
MVP.
he had the worst ranked
Super Bowl
defense his whole
champion.
career. And he's had 6 different
Aaron
NFL
Rodgers
coaches.
has had terrible
He's had
defenses
6
too.
different coaches.
He still wins division titles.
He's a
He still
trash
puts
heap
up
of an
the numbers.
organization. He's a
He still
trash heap
wins.
of an organization.
He doesn't get
His head
benched.
coach just got completely destroyed for an
Who's
emails.
that coach? Who's that coach?
Derek Carr. He's had nothing over there. He's had no consistency. They just got Devontae Adams, but they had a crap head coach in McDaniel. It doesn't mean anything. Next year when he proves the whole league wrong and
Oh,
he's
yeah,
a top
'cause-
5 quarterback in the
because
NFC.
That's going to happen.
Hold on.
Okay.
Because
He is.
who's
Saints
going
are
to be
easily going to win the
hold on,
division.
hold
They're
on.
going to be top 4.
Wait. Who's going to be the great coach in New Orleans? That's going to coach in the victory.
His head coach when he first got there.
Who?
Is Dennis Allen. When he first got there, he was
Dennis
great
Allen.
under him. Derek Carr
Hey,
Derek
man.
Carr not in MVP talks his second or third year in the league?
Yeah,
Yeah, was
Carson
20
Wentz at a point. What does that even
2016.
Yeah, and Carson Wentz
2016.
and Carson Wentz was good. Carson Wentz had 4 straight bad years.
Excuse-
He's had what,
it's-
four
it's
four
two.
straight?
It's two. It's a two.
He's been
straight
crap
bad
for at least 3. It's been 3 seasons at least where he's been crap because
He
he had
was
last
bad
year in Washington.
2020, and
Last
then
year,
2021 he was
the Colts.
okay. He was okay.
No, he was-
He threw
he was
27 touchdowns against 7 picks. That's
And he had a lot of
okay.
fumbles as well. No, he was not good for 3 straight.
That's-
He's been crap.
That's better than Derek Carr just played this past year. I don't know what.
In
what
one
you're trying to do
season.
there.
Yeah, one season. I don't have the stats on me, so I can't. Derek Carr is the most comeback drives since he's came in the league.
We'll
He's
see.
a crunch
Also,
time quarterback.
Grayson,
He's had the
you're
worst ranked
discounting-
defense.
You're discounting all the second-year quarterbacks in the NFC who could make a jump. You don't know what you have in Jordan Love
Yeah,
really at all.
but I don't
You don't know what
care.
Sam Howell's going to
Jay
do.
Money.
You don't know what Desmond Ritter is about to
Yeah,
do.
and Jordan
I think
Love's
it's
not making the playoffs.
I think
Justin
it's
Why
Fields
not?
might
Why
make the
not? Why
playoffs.
not? Why not? Why not?
Because he's not.
Let's do this.
They're not getting close to winning the division. The Packers
Why?
are not making
Why?
the playoffs.
Hold on,
I'm sorry,
hold on.
John.
Why?
What
Hold
do you
on,
mean
hold on.
why?
You say, can I talk?
The
You say
Vikings,
this.
Packers,
Let me
and
talk.
or the
Let me
Vikings,
talk.
Bears,
Let me
and
talk.
Lions are all better.
Let me talk. You say this, and it's like we still have the draft and all that. Let's talk right now. The Bears. I know they made all these moves. You got to go win some games. They have not proven that in years.
Yeah, and
Hold
Jordan
on,
Love hasn't proven he can win a game.
Hold on. The team around him has. I mean, the Packers are one of the best. Say what you
They didn't
want.
make the
Packers are one of
playoffs
the
last year.
Pack-
So what's your point? Like,
They're still one of the best.
we're using all this
in the
logic
NFL.
from last
They're
year.
they're a better team than the Saints. Overall team, the Packers. Yeah.
Okay, and I don't care. The Saints just got Jamal Williams. We just got Derek Carr. We've improved our team. What have the Packers done? They lost Aaron Rodgers.
Jamal Williams. Have her backup. We don't want him.
Okay, what have the
It don't
Packers
matter.
done? What have the Packers done this offseason to improve so much?
They nothing yet. It's a long
Exactly.
off season, buddy. Long
Nothing.
off season.
Nada.
Long off season. Long
It
off
doesn't.
season.
Okay, and the Saints have all this
What do you mean it
offseason to
doesn't
improve
matter?
even more. The
Doesn't
Saints have more
matter.
cap space too right now. We're still making a
No, they
splash
don't.
signing
No,
late.
they
Yeah,
don't.
we have 13
You
million
know
cap
more
space.
cap space. We
We
have
have 13
24. We have like 27.
I just saw the top cap space, and it's the Bears. It is
Go
not
look
the
again.
the Packers do not have.
I never
24
said we
mil.
had the top. We got more than you though.
Okay, and make a signing that's insignificant. You have
I don't
Jordan
know,
Love as your quarterback. You guys aren't making the playoffs.
All right.
You don't know that yet.
Save this
I
clip.
think-
You don't know
okay.
anything about
I
him.
think the
You
thing
don't know
is,
anything about
it's
him.
just it's a probability. You know, there's a probability he'll be good. There's a probability he'll be bad. I think it's really hard to determine because we haven't seen him play. Like you just don't even know.
Yeah.
You know, anything else is just speculation. I think it's what you take all those probabilities of a second year guy being better than Derek Carr where he is now, and like individually they're probably not that
No,
much, but together I think one of them will probably be better. Like that
And
just
don't even
makes
get me
sense.
wrong. Like I think Jordan Love's gonna be good. Like I don't think he's gonna be bad for the Packers, but they're not making the playoffs. I'm sorry,
Then
they're
how
not
good
better.
is Derek Carr gonna be?
Derek
Hold on,
Carr is
why
gonna
do-
win the division.
why do you
He's gonna be
think-
good enough to win the division.
why do you
That's all he
think,
needs to do.
I know.
Alex Smith
Well,
won the
for-
division
hold
with
on, hold on.
Washington in 2020.
He's a top 5
Hold on.
defense.
I know,
He
for
has
real,
to
though, but-
score 20 points or more every game.
Grayson, at the same time, you're saying like win the division, like that's a big accomplishment. You play in the NFC South, it's dog crap.
Okay,
Everyone
and
sucks.
I'm
You don't have to
saying
be good.
right now they're still gonna
Right?
they're gonna be a top 4 team quality wise in the NFC. Whether or not they win the division, they're still gonna be a top 4 team in the NFC.
And they're going to lose the wild card game. Derek
You're gonna have
Carr's
at least
be
11 or 12.
0-3. It's going to be 0-3 in the playoffs.
If they
You
go
think
to the
they're gonna
wild
win
card at
11
home and they
games? You think they're going to win 11 games?
We have an easy schedule next year. Look at our schedule.
You guys are going to go.
We have one of the easiest schedules in the NFL.
Yeah,
You guys are gonna go
why
9
is
and
that?
8.
Easy schedule next
Why
year.
is
gonna
that?
go
Because you guys
9 and
finished
8.
third
What last year in our
Yeah,
division?
I said, why do you have such an easy schedule? Maybe
What's the
because you-
Saints' first draft?
playing a whole
pick
Yeah, it
bunch of
doesn't
third
matter. We
place
still have an
teams.
we still have an easy schedule.
What's-
doesn't
What's
matter.
the Saints' first draft pick?
What does that have to do with anything? 28? Oh no!
Does that
So
have to
our
do
first
with anything?
round
A
picks
lot.
are
Supposed to have
No,
the
but
10th
the-
overall pick.
yeah okay.
Where is it?
I don't care.
Where'd it go?
We got
Way to go.
we
Where'd
got
it go?
we got
Who
quality
has it?
picks.
Who
We got
has
Trevor
that
Penning.
now?
We got Trevor Penning. Like
Oh,
what?
Trevor
Trevor
Penning.
Trevor Penning, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna be a
He
left
even
tackle
played
of the
this year?
future. Yeah, he did.
even-
And when he was yeah, he did.
Didn't he
I
get
don't
hurt?
Ned. I don't want to hear it. I do not want
And
to
when-
hear it
and
from
when
a
he was
Washington
healthy-
fan right now. I'm
and
sorry.
when-
I do not want to hear it from a Washington
Why?
fan about
He's
picks.
got more Super Bowls than you.
From what 30 years ago? I don't care. I don't care.
I mean,
All right.
we're in petty squabbles
Like
at this point.
Daniel Snyder is selling the team. It's going to be a wash over there next year. They might be a little bit better, but they're not doing
We have a
anything.
better roster than you guys do.
No, you do not. In what
Yeah,
way,
we do.
shape, or form? In
Wide
what way,
receiver
shape?
core is better.
It is not. It's not better.
Defense-
Who's
defensive
better
line.
than Terry McLaurin right now?
When he's healthy, Michael Thomas, and he's going to be healthy next
No,
year.
When
he has
was
been
the last-
healthy
Chris
3
Olave.
years.
Chris Olave is better than
He's
Jahan
like
Dotson.
2019, dude.
Chris Olave is better than Jahan Dotson, and we
He's
still
not
have
better than
Rashid Seed at
McLaurin,
number 3.
though.
Yeah, he's not.
And-
but Michael Thomas is better than Terry
And
McLaurin. I don't
Rashid
care.
is not better than Curtis Samuel.
No.
And Jawan Johnson and Taysom Hill are better tight ends than whoever you got over there.
Yeah, you guys are better
Running
tight
back.
ends, albeit
Running
that's a
backs
very
are better.
underutilized group.
Running backs are
defense-
better.
Defense
Outside
line.
Alvin Kamara, what other running backs do you have? outside
Jamal
Alvin
Williams.
Kamara? Yeah, okay. I'll give you the running backs, although I think
Like,
it's a slight edge because Alvin Kamara.
And the defense is better too. We had a top 5 defense last year. Like
I
I
think we
don't
had a
want to hear
top
it.
3 defense. I think we actually had a
De-
top 3 defense.
Defensive line by a
No.
lot. Commanders. Defensive
I
line
think
by
the
a
D-line
lot.
Okay,
is a lot better.
defensive line, not better
I think-
secondary. Not better
Who do you guys have at
linebackers.
safety?
We have Tyrann Matthew and Marcus May.
And old Tyrann
Yeah,
Really
he
old
still
Tyrann
he still had what
Mathieu.
4-3 picks last year.
And old.
He did well. I don't want
Yeah,
to.
I mean, we have an ascending
So did Rudy
young
Ford.
safety in Derek Forrest who's really good.
Okay.
We have
I'm
one of the
glad
best
you have
safeties in
that.
the NFL in Cam Curl.
I'm
He's-
glad
he's
you
like
have that
this-
over there.
he's
But you still don't have a better
PFF's
roster.
He's PFF's best,
Like,
highest
I
rated
don't get
defensive
this.
player who's 25 or under.
All right.
He's
In
one
what
of
way
the
do
best
the
safeties.
Yeah, but the Saints still don't have a worse roster. Like that just doesn't make
They
sense.
do.
I'm sorry.
All right.
No,
this
we
is
do
a-
not.
Hold
Okay,
on.
it doesn't make sense.
You
This
might
is
have to
a
put up a poll after this on the IG story.
Yeah, we could do that. We could do that.
Let's see
And it's
what we
gonna
get.
easily be the Saints. Like,
Maybe.
does
I
not
don't know
make
how
sense.
confident I am in it, to be honest.
All right, let's just finish
I
the
mean,
receivers off.
We gotta
Let's
wrap
finish
this
off the
up.
receivers.
Jeez.
All right.
We
JSN.
can go on all
We
day.
got
Jackson Smith.
Jigba at number 1, 6'1",
guy's a dog.
196 pounds, clear cut, best receiver in the draft. The route running, yeah. I mean, I don't know what
And
else to say.
He's
he's
better
going-
than Chris Olave too.
He's going. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see where he goes. I think he's gonna go top 20 for sure. It's gonna be interesting. What teams? I mean, me and Jenks were looking at it before we hopped on. I mean, like we said, the Texans at 12 is interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
I think they could totally do that.
I
I think
think-
they might want to give
I
the guy a
think-
safety blanket.
So here's my thing. I don't think he goes into the top 10.
No.
And I think he goes in the top 20. And the 3 teams where I think he's going, I think it's going to be Houston at 12, New England at 14, or Green Bay at 15. Right? I mean, all 3 teams that need receivers, that's perfect value right there for them. I mean, do you want to pair him up with the rookie QB in Houston? New England's been looking for that receiver one. I don't know. They
Yeah,
just signed
New
Juju.
England's
Who
in the
knows?
quarterback
But
turmoil.
Belichick, he might want to get someone on the line instead of skill position because Belichick, he likes getting those skill guys in the back rounds. And then of course Green
Yeah.
Bay, which it would be hilarious if all these 18 years didn't get a receiver for Aaron in the first round, and then they get this guy for Jordan Love year 1. And the thing for Green Bay, and I know it's biased, but it just makes too much sense. I mean, Green Bay they didn't fill this hole during free agency. They didn't pick up anyone. The receiving core is Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs. That's it.
Yeah.
I know there's still you need a vet. You need a vet guy, and they're gonna get one. But if he's sitting there at 15, it's tough. How do you pass on him? I mean, they need and if Green Bay wants a tight end, then trade back into the 20s and go get one. I don't like the value there at 15.
I don't even.
But if
What's your second
JSN,
round pick?
if
What's your second round
JSN,
pick?
I couldn't 46. Something
I mean,
like that. I
even
don't
there
know.
you can get a good tight end. There's
Yeah,
so many tight ends.
But
you could
you
get
know,
Darnell
we need a-
Washington.
Yeah, but we need a
I agree.
receiver. But we need a
Yeah.
receiver, and I mean tight ends. We need a receiver, tight end receiver.
Yeah,
If we
you just
get a
need
tight
weapons.
end in the first round, we would trade back to take it. I don't like taking Michael Mayer or Dalton at 15. If JSN is that 15th overall pick, I love it.
You take him.
Great value, yeah. Steal, not
Yeah, I feel
steal,
like it's
but I
just
mean,
like
I
a
think that's
no-brainer, you know?
perfect. Yeah.
Because Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave both came in the league last year as 10-9 or 9-11 or something like that.
10 and 11.
10-11, yeah.
Yeah, and Jackson Smith and Jigba's might be better than both
Better
of them.
than them.
Like
yeah.
that was a discussion
I
last
don't know.
year.
I don't
It,
know.
it was a discussion. He had
I don't know if he's better
1,600
than Garrett
yards.
Wilson.
Yeah, but I'm saying they both talked about it. They were like when they were coming into the league, they were like, this
I
guy
have
is still on Ohio State and he might be better than us. So
I have a theory. I have a working theory that saying the younger guy is better than you is often a function of wanting to boost someone's draft stock.
yeah,
You know,
I
that
mean,
Yeah.
obviously.
Jalen Waddle, before the 2021 draft, said he preferred Mac Jones over Tua Tagovailoa. And I don't think it takes a genius to take those two players and say, hey, I think one of them is a lot better than the other. And that's pretty much a consensus. I don't think people really disagree on that.
No, for
And
sure.
I think, it's another thing that one came out a year after the other one. And it was really convenient to say that, hey, I played with this guy and I think he's better. And the other guy's already in the NFL. The other guy already got paid. I think it totally makes sense. And you say that they said it while they're at OSU while they were coming out, but it's like they knew they were going to be first round picks already. They were like, we're going to go in the top.
But the
15.
thing is, Jackson Smith went off that last year.
Yeah, that's true. They have 1,600 yards.
I 100% agree with that, Ned. If he didn't do well, if he did a little bit if he wasn't as great as he was that season, but he went off 1,600 touchdowns, 1,600 yards, 9 touchdowns.
Note that they didn't say anything about Marvin Harrison Jr. though.
Oh, but he's
Only
that's
made-
next year. Yeah,
Hold on,
next
hold
year
on.
he's
Can
gonna
we-
be
One
ridiculous.
start.
We could just all agree though
Yes.
to JSN to Packers at 15 is a lock, right?
A lot. I'm sure you'd like it
If
to
he's
be a lot.
available, yeah.
I
if
wish.
he's
Granted, your
available.
I
lack of
wish.
success at the position, the
wish.
frustration. with
Nah,
it.
but like Ned said, the last episode he was on, there's a difference between what you want and what you think. What I want, JSN, absolutely fill a big need, love the value. Realistically, Green Bay's probably gonna reach and get Nolan Smith because he blew up at the combine, and they love
And they
Georgia
love Georgia,
players.
yeah.
So
I think also the thing about it is that you kind of have two ascending young players in Dowds and Watson. Like you have two guys who both showed something during their rookie year. They could get better. You don't want a situation where both those guys are really blowing up, and then you have this guy who you picked at the 15th overall pick who's like he's not really getting even the reps.
yeah, but you know what? But yeah, I mean, you say that, but I mean, you play this league with 3-4 receivers on the field. To be honest,
that's true.
And you know what? I think they all work together pretty well. I think you get Christian and Romeo on the outside, and I think you put JSN in the slot. You know what I mean? Like if Christian Watson, if Christian Watson was a slot receiver, then no. But I think they work together pretty well. So I think they complement each other well. Because I think you look at Christian Watson, and you're like, that's the speed, that's the size, that's the athletic freak that you could do a lot with. JSN is going to be the best route runner. He's going to work that slot very well. And the Romeo Dubs really kind of does it all. You know what I mean? And you're just going to ask him to be that receiver 3. So I think they work together pretty well.
I mean, we talked about it a little bit, but like how we said, we don't see any receivers going top 10, but there is a threat. The Falcons could possibly go receiver at 8? I don't see it happening, but the Falcons
they would trade back.
The Falcons love getting weapons early. I'm blanking on the receiver's name. Is number 1 over there. I'm completely
Drake London.
Yeah, Drake London. Like he was what?
Yeah,
he was a boom or bust kind of guy last year. Like he was a lot of talk about him. And he got picked at I think they picked him top 10 last year. So they could do it again this year with a guy like JSN.
But you know what? The thing about Atlanta too that doesn't make sense because they were in they're in the Hopkins kind of sweepstakes too. Apparently, it's like you got Drake London who you drafted top 10. You got Kyle Pitts,
and
it's like you got these young weapon. It's like why are you gonna add to that mix?
But I
and they're trying
to
to
use
build
another
up their
receiver because they have Desmond Ridder and you can't have enough weapons for a young quarterback.
Go get a lineman. He has enough. Trust me.
Agree.
They just don't know how to use Pitts.
They also like to run the ball a lot.
Go get a lineman.
They definitely like run the ball.
You want to help? You want to help Desmond? Like you got his receivers. Go get him protection.
No. I don't think. I'm not saying they will necessarily.
Actually,
but I'm saying,
I don't know. He might not need protection playing the Saints. They don't really get to the passer a lot.
The last year we killed him both times. So actually, we didn't kill him, but we won both games, so I'm not really worried. But like I'm saying, I'm not saying
I thought last year
didn't
matter. I thought last year
they're not going to pick a receiver, but they could. I'm just saying that it is a threat. It's a possibility. Like JSN could be off the board or something like that.
Can't count it out.
Yeah,
totally. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at JanksHammerPod. You can listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and YouTube at Janks and the Hammer Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment, disagree with us, agree with us. We want to hear your takes, and we appreciate it. Have a good weekend, Easter weekend, and we'll see you guys Monday morning.
And real quick before we go, if you guys like Ned on the podcast, let us know because we like having Ned on the podcast.
I can come back. I can be back.
Yeah. If you guys like Ned, let us know. We'll have him
back.
Him.
Yeah.
All right. Peace, guys.
Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to the Janks and the Hammer podcast. Remember to leave a review and follow all of our social media pages at Janks Hammer Pod for more content. Until next time, who dat and go Pack Go!